Hey motherforkers, thanks for tuning in to Eskimo TV. I'm your host, Jason Escamilla, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Good Place, Season 3, Episode 10, The Book of Dougs. I'm really excited to talk about this episode because there was a lot of good things that happened, and I think you always hope that that episode after a long break is really good to make up for the couple of weeks that you haven't seen it. I thought that this was tremendous. You had a lot going on, from Michael and talking to the Good Place committee, to Jason, to Hani, neutral Janet, and Chidi and Eleanor. And I usually one or two of these timelines or of these storylines is really good, but then one of them is kind of eh. In this particular instance, I thought all three were equally entertaining to watch. And so we're going to go ahead and talk about all of these interactions, my thoughts, and I'd like to know what you think if you got the chance to see this episode. Which leads me to say that this review does contain spoilers. So if you haven't seen the episode yet, you may want to click off and come check out this video later. So let's go ahead and talk about the episode. Our group is in the mailroom. They're not officially in the Good Place like Michael claimed that they were at the end of the last episode. Michael always says they're in the Good Place and they're not really there. Now they're almost there, they're kind of there, but they are actually in the mailroom that is adjacent to the Good Place. There is one door that separates them from being in the Good Place. And so immediately we see the mail person of this postal room that they're in, who's played amazingly, cast perfectly by Nicole Byer. She is just such an amazing actress who brings this very happy-go-lucky, sarcastic feel to her.
If I could believe it. Watch this. I believe it! Why are they here?
Because they won a contest.
Congratulations, guys! Come on in.
She's just so gullible, and one of the funniest things that happens is when she asks what's going on.
We're being chased by demons.
And a Dracula! There was a Dracula chasing us.
Was there though, Jason?
Yeah. Maybe Drac blew up the mailbox with his bazooka.
Let's talk about Michael for a minute. Michael goes to look for the Good Place committee, and he is 100% certain that the bad place is tampering with who is allowed in. And what results from this path Michael has taken is the Good Place finally decides that they have heard his story, they think it's a valid argument, but that it's going to take hundreds of years for them to get a team together and figure it out. This discourages Michael tremendously, and it was kind of funny, like, whoa, you're gonna take 400 years just to put a team together and figure it out? Well, Michael, as resilient as he is, I think he's gonna figure out something else, a different way to get through and accomplish his ultimate goal, which is to make sure that our group of characters can be in the Good Place. I think Michael really likes our group of characters, and he feels like they have become to be good people. Back in the mailroom, we have neutral Janet, who's having really hard remaining neutral because Jason unveils the fact that him and Tahani saw that him and Janet were in love and once married. Janet has suppressed feelings about this and is really trying hard not to explain how she's feeling this way, and it's really hard for her because she's trying to remain neutral. I thought that this was really funny. Poor Tahani, she tries to amend the situation, and no matter what she does, even having a marriage death certificate, there is nothing that she can do to make the situation better. It just gets worse and worse, and she feels very discouraged, but I thought that this is funny because it links to the prior episode before break. I was wondering how Janet would feel about our characters knowing, and I was wondering how Jason would feel because he did used to really, really love and care about Janet. I'm curious to see where that goes. I can't really say I have an idea, but I am curious to see what happens if Jason and Miss Robot Janet, who once again just does an amazing performance in this episode, playing different sides of her character. I think she's a great actress. I'm curious to see where her and Jason go. And finally, we have Eleanor and Chidi. And this was the most emotionally heartfelt part of the episode. We have Chidi, who decides to dress up as a mailman because he knows that this is one of Eleanor's little kinks. And the dialogue, the words they say back and forth to each other during their scene as they decide to go on this date, and Chidi tries to get her to stop stressing out and just to focus on the fact that they are together and they are in love. I thought that that was beautiful, and I thought that that was a nice, different kind of good part of this episode. And in the end, ladies and gentlemen, we have our characters going to IHOP. Not the International House of Pancakes, but the International Holes of something. Let me look it up real quick. The Interdimensional Hole of Pancakes. That's it. Our characters are going to be going to the Interdimensional Hole of Pancakes, where hopefully all of their issues will be settled. We just got a couple episodes left, ladies and gentlemen. I am dying to see where this season will end. I'm hoping it doesn't end on too crazy of a cliffhanger because that will make me really sad. We'll have to wait a really long time before we can find out the conclusion. But I thought that this episode was good. It moved the plot forward. We found out the Good Place's response to everything. Really sad for Michael because it looked like they were going to do something about it, and they were like, we are! It's just going to take a really long time. Curious to see what happens with Janet, and as always, I'm always looking forward to seeing Chidi and Eleanor's relationship blossom. I'm going to give this episode of The Good Place a A. Let me know what you thought about this episode in the comments below. Would love to know what you think. You can also follow me on social media at Eskimo TV. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more icy and chilly Eskimo TV reviews.